So in this video, we're going to be looking at identifying all characteristics of quadratics when we're just given the quadratic function in standard form. So for number one, I have that f of x is equal to 6x squared minus 12x, and I don't have anything at the end. Whenever you're missing a term, you can just put a plus 0. So since I'm missing my c term, I'm just going to go ahead and put a plus 0 at the end. Now I can immediately answer these first two questions just by looking at my function here. So my first one asked me whether I'm going to have a maximum or a minimum, and then whether it's going to be up or down. And I can tell that from my a value. So here 6 is my a, negative 12 is b, c is 0. So my a is equal to 6, and since 6 is positive, it's greater than 0, that means that my graph is going to be opening up, and then that means that it's going to have a minimum, because if I graph this out, it's going to end up having this U shape, so it's going to have a minimum value. I can also tell my y-intercept just by looking at this function, because my y-intercept, again, that's always my c value. So it's going to be 0, comma, whatever c is. Here, c is 0, so that means that my y-intercept is 0, comma, 0. Now, like we've done in previous videos, to find my vertex, that's when I have to use my x is equal to the opposite of b over 2a. Well, my b value here is negative 12. So if I do take the opposite of negative 12, that's going to be a positive 12 over 2 times a, which is 6. So here I have 12 over 12, and so that means that x is equal to 1. So I know that my vertex starts with 1. But now I actually have my axis of symmetry as well, because remember, your axis of symmetry is just the x value of your vertex. So my axis of symmetry is x is equal to 1. So now the last thing that I need to try and find is the y value of my vertex. So to find the y value of my vertex, all I'm going to do is plug in 1 for x. And so I have that 6 times 1 squared minus 12 times 1. So that's just going to be 1, so 6 minus 12. And so I get negative 6. And so my vertex is at 1, negative 6. Okay, let's try another one. So first I'm going to go ahead and label my a, b, and c. So a is negative 4, b is negative 16, c is 5. You can also just write that on the side. So a is equal to negative 4, b is equal to negative 16, c is equal to 5. So here I see that a is less than 0, so that means that the graph is going to be pointing down, and it's going to have a maximum. So here my answers are going to be max, pointing down. My y-intercept, that's always 0, comma, c. And here my c value is 5, so that means that my y-intercept is 0, comma, 5. My axis symmetry is always the x-coordinate of my vertex, so that's going to be that x is equal to the opposite of b over 2a. So I need to find that first and then find my vertex. So the opposite of b over 2a. Well, b is equal to negative 16, so the opposite of negative 16 is positive 16 over 2 times a, which is negative 4. So I have 16 over negative 8. 16 divided by negative 8, I get negative 2. So that means that my axis symmetry is x equals negative 2. And that my vertex starts at negative 2. So now to find what my y value is, I need to plug this negative 2 in for x. So everywhere I see an x, I'm going to replace it with negative 2. And now I'm going to simplify from here. So again, I need to make sure I do my exponent first. So negative 2 squared, I get a positive 4. Negative 16 times negative 2 is positive 32. Negative 4 times 4, I get negative 16. And so when I add those, negative 16 plus 32 is 16. 16 plus 5, I get 21. So that means that my vertex is at negative 2, 21.